pagpapakamatay o di kaya'y pagkakaroon po ng mental disorder. Yan po ang madalas na bunga ng depresyon po sa isang tao.
Good day and welcome to Pros and Cons, where we ask the hard questions and you decide which side of the truth you would choose to believe.
Mental health is a serious matter, and one place to observe the dynamics of mental health is the use of social media among teenagers. A healthy exposure to online relationships is said to benefit from the mental and social development of teens. However, prolonged exposure can trigger sadness, anxiety, and depression due to learned behaviors such as unhealthy focusing on attention, unrealistic expectations, and lack of personal interaction. Other issues in social media are cyberbullying and trolling, which, if left unchecked, may lead a person who has lost all self-respect to suicide. Today, in Pros and Cons, we raise the question, how do we handle the effects of social media on the mental health of teenagers? Should teens be kept away from social media?
I'm Undersecretary Joel C. Edco, your moderator. And what better way to tackle this issue than to understand what goes on inside a teen's mind? Joining us today are Teddy Dizon, co-founder and psychologist of Better Step Psychology Incorporated. Also, we have Professor of Digital Marketing and Social Media, my good friend, Professor Romel Lopez. Welcome to the show, sir, Prof. And taking on the con side, we have, to my left, Mr. John Yang, social media manager. All right. So, you know, Teddy, I read from somewhere, not so long ago, that in the US, no, there's a direct correlation between an increase in teen suicides with social media use. Is it the same? I mean, ganun din ba nangyayari dito sa ating bansa?
Certainly. Although kailangan po nating maging careful, no? Kasi a relation or a correlation is not equivalent to a cause. Ibig sabihin, marami pong iba't ibang factors na pwedeng nagko-contribute sa desisyon ng isang tao na mag-suicide. But certainly, social media and the pressures that it places upon our children, especially the most influential group, which are the teens, definitely play a part in contributing to leading to that decision.
Alam mo, when we speak of suicide, pagpapakamatay, yan yung last na eh. Patay nga eh. So, my question is, ano yung other indicators that the mindset of the youngster is actually leading toward that, that dreaded thing, that suicide?
So as you said nga po, it's a last resort for most people, which means that there is a process of getting there. Nagpapatong-patong and it builds up. So ibig sabihin po, you have to watch out for markers like, for example, drastic change in behavior. Kapag ang anak mo, you know him or her to be a certain way, kung wari galaw-gaw or malakas ang boses, talagang makulit, biglang naging tahimik, biglang naging sullen, withdrawn.
Sudden change of yung behavior. Prof. Romel, meron ka bang personal experience na sa estudyante or somebody close to you na suffer yung mga ganitong problema sa social media?
Meron. Isang kapamilya, tsaka isang estudyante. Recently lang, let's start dun sa may estudyante ko. Iba yung attitude niya inside the classroom, so nakikita ko na masyado siyang withdrawn.
Okay.
So I tried to get to know him. Mararamdaman mo kagad eh. Alam ni Doc yun na may wall siya kagad. So I tried to analyze him. Tinignan ko yung kanyang social media accounts.
I see.
So kitang-kita may dual personality disorder na siya kasi he takes on the personality ng mga anime characters na ina-idolize niya. Meron din naman ako kamag-anak na na-depress because may Facebook envy.
Alright.
Na
mga bata ito. We're talking of teenagers.
Yung estudyante ko, teenager, pero itong kamag-anak ko nasa tamang edad na.
So walang pinipiling
Walang pinipili.
Thank you, Prof. Romel, and thank you, Teddy. When we return, we'll get right into our discussion on mental health, suicide, and social media. And I would like John to answer this question. So, after hearing what they said, dapat bang pagbawal ang mga kabataan sa social media? Pros and cons will be right back.
I believe that there is truly a need to limit the use of social media among youth. Because nowadays, as far as I can see, we are already dependent with the use of different social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and many others. So I think there is a need for its moderation.
Oo naman. Kasi hindi maganda lahat ng sobra. At ang mga kabataan ngayon, madami ring risk na makukuha sa social media, lalo na kung walang guidance. So dapat lang sa mga magulang, they make sure na ilimit nilang paggamit ng mga bata ng social media.
Para sa akin, kailangan limitahan ang paggamit ng social media sa kabataan tulad namin. Bakit? Dahil para maiwasan ang pag-abuso sa paggamit nito at magamit namin ng oras sa mga makabuluhang bagay.
We're back on pros and cons. And today we're talking about social media and its effects on the mental health of teenagers. Let's get to it. So before our break, I left a hanging question, di ba?
Yes, you did.
So, kailangan bang pagbawal yung mga teenagers sa paggamit ng social media?
Pagbawal, medyo matinding pagsasabi ng Yusek eh. Kailangan i-control, kailangan ituro sa mga kabataan, lalo na ang mga nasa vulnerable, ika nga, na posisyon. Paano ang tamang paggamit ng social media kasama ng kanilang mga magulang para makita rin ng magulang, hindi lang po yung ating mga edukador, makita nila ay yung mga sinasabi nila na mga warning signs, kumbaga, na nag-iiba yung karakter nila, nag-iiba ng attitude, para mas maigi nila makita. Kasi kapag sinabi po ninyong ipagbawal po ang social media, alam naman
Magre-revolusyon yung mga bata.
Magre-revolusyon sila, maghahanap sila ng paraan.
But may mga kabataan ngayon, especially, ayaw niyang pinapakailaman. So, how do we deal with that?
Sa experience ko po, kailangan yung kausapin na masinsinan yung bata at sabihin niyo, kaya ako concerned para sa sinasabi mo at maaaring hindi mo makita mula sa kinatatayuan mo na may rason. Pero ako, naniniwala ako na may rason ako para mag-usap tayo na may problema.
What you're saying is that yung education dito hindi lang limited sa bata. Malaking parental guidance dito na issue.
Yeah.
Diba?
If I may take
Yes,
John's point, no?
Ted.
Tama talaga na mahirap naman kung pagbawalan sila totally. But the psychology of parenting really has evolved throughout the times. Tulad ng mga panahon ng mga magulang natin, they had to teach us how to properly consume TV time. The social media consumption habits really need to be trained from the very beginning.
What do you mean by that, social media consumption habits?
Well, sa amin po, merong recommended age of beginning to be exposed to social media.
Which is
6 years old is no, not for social media, but for mga YouTube, mga ganyan, internet use. But for social media mismo, in their teens na, talagang 11 is the earliest, 12 is the common thing that we see. Pero liban po doon, ang paggamit po ng internet, kailangan talaga, it's founded on a sense of accountability and respect. So, bago pa siya turuan paano gumamit ng internet, yung mga dadalhin niyang values sa paggamit niya ng internet ay mga values na dapat natutunan niya.
Sa bahay.
Oo, sa bahay. Respeto, accountability, tsaka yung pakiramdam na hindi kita sasaktan. Hindi mo rin ako sasaktan.
Parang walang, respetuhan tayo. Sabi nga niya, respect equals discipline.
Yeah.
Ano yung magre-red flag agad na, teka, may problema yung anak ko?
Definitely po, if you are privy, if you're allowed to see what they are posting and creating on their in their digital life, you can see if there are emotions na imbis na dapat ay nasasabi sa parent or sa kaibigan, ay sa Facebook po sinasabi, nakakainis ang mundo, bakit ganyan lang?
And that's unhealthy?
Yes.
Or is it healthy?
That's definitely unhealthy.
Alright. Prof, going back to yung estudyante mo, how is he right now?
maganda yung tanong mo kanina kung healthy or unhealthy at sinabi rin
Sige,
ni
sige.
Teddy.
Oo.
Kasi yung estudyante ko na yan, when I attempted to talk to him, talaga may barrier kagad. And then I got the information from his classmates na close siya.
Okay.
So I later on learned na may family problems.
I
So the kid has a problem opening up to his parents. So pag tinignan mo yung Twitter feed niya, parang kulang na lang kung meron siyang atomic bomb, he will drop a bomb
Galit
to
siya sa
everybody
mundo.
else. So galit na galit sa mundo. So makikita mo na extension ng kanyang personality na yung nilalabas niya rin sa social media. Yun ang nagiging channel niya.
And sometimes, the bullied
Yeah.
becomes the bully. No, parang yung self-esteem mo, bagsak. Teka, dito, siga ako. Virtual reality, siga ako dito.
Yun din ang ginagawa niya. So, he creates different characters sa tweets na itong gagawin niya. So, parang nakatakot kasi nag-picture out na siya how he's going to get back at the bullies.
I see.
The power
Yeah.
fantasies, I believe that's the term.
Power fantasies.
Basically, the speaker, nilalagay niya sarili niya na ako ang hero, ako ang bida.
Okay.
Kung
Because he
ano
suffers
mangyayari.
from very low self-esteem.
Because he suffers, yes.
And depression probably, no?
In psychology naman po, it's called projection. So,
Projection.
ibig sabihin, yung mga bagay na ninanais mo na nasa buhay mo or part ng personality mo,
Nawala sa'yo.
nawala sa'yo, kinukuha mo mula sa isang character or mula sa isang fragment of your imagination. Tapos yung mga attributes niya na nakakatulong sana sa'yo in your real life. A character that's able to speak out, that's
Yeah.
able to defend himself, that's able to be friends with a lot of people. Yun yung mga kinukuha mong attributes mo.
Okay. As a social media manager, meron ka bang naisip na paraan on how to protect kids, no? From suffering very low self-esteem and depression.
You have to know yung kids nyo talaga. Na kung anong iniidolo nila, ano yung mga sinusundan nila.
Okay.
Kung bakit nila iniidolo. Kasi ang bata, pag hindi mo siya nakakita ng magandang halimbawa sa pamilya niya at sa mga kaibigan niya, maghahanap na yan sa online.
Ng ibang nagpo-project na,
nagpo-project
tapos
na yan.
naghahanap na ng belongingness or whatever, nababarkada sa hindi maganda.
Among others. Tapos makikita niyo na lang mag-follow na yan sa mga Twitter feeds sa mga tao na hindi niyo naman kilala.
That's right.
Pero masasama pala yung mga intensyon na sinasabi nila.
Correct.
Nagalit sa mga babae, galit sa mga
Yung mga phobias na.
mga phobias na. Nakikita po namin, pag bata pa lang na-expose sa social media, hindi lang sa psychology, kundi sa biology, yung utak niya.
Magkaiba na agad yun.
Na,
6 and then you want the age raised, no?
Yes.
Up to what age?
Ideally, 15.
Ooh.
I see. May I?
Taas niyan.
Yes.
Yeah, if I may,
Okay,
if
sige.
I may give a counterpoint po, no? Because in this generation, so much of learning materials that are out there are available in
Digital format.
digital
Yeah.
format,
Digital format
which
na.
means that it is very unnatural for parents to interrupt the organic progression of a child learning from these platforms, and then are they gonna keep just using apps that make them match shapes to each other until they are 15 years old? No, on their own they will discover, especially if they're in their school lives already and they have classmates who have digital platforms
personas,
also.
yes.
You will not be able to control what happens there, and they will learn not from you but from kids who may not have the right agenda.
Right.
I see.
Ang point ko rito is, social media is so powerful, anyone can become a producer of
That's right.
information.
Yes,
So,
that's right.
before, sinabi nga ni Teddy before, di ba, yung pag gumagamit tayo ng TV and radio, we are consumers of information. Pero because of social media, we are both producers and consumers of information. The big question is, are those people, especially the parents and teachers, really trained to train
That's right.
Yan ang malaking
students?
problema.
Yun ang malaking problema. Actually, na-answer na yan ng UNESCO by introducing a subject na available din naman actually tinuturo sa senior high school, yung media information literacy.
right.
But
That's
the
good.
problem is, naibababa yan. Lalo na sa mga public schools or even sa right in the home para makinabang mga
Okay.
And
parents.
if I may say, that subject is only introduced at age 12,
Yeah,
which
age
is
12.
too late already.
Okay, Eddie, Prof, and John, we'll get back to that. Let's take a short break muna, and when we return, let's hear what our followers have to say about social media and mental health. Don't go away.
I think it's not that we should limit the youth from using social media, but at least we should at least keen on what we post. We should properly utilize it. Posting online and what we read online is something that's very important.
Dapat ipagbawal yung paggamit ng social media sa mga kabataan. It's because nadadivert yung kanilang self sa social media instead na mag-focus sila sa study, doon na lang sila sa social media hinihintay kung sino mag-reply, sino magpo-post, para nababaliwala na yung kanilang study. So para sa akin dapat ipagbawal o limitahan yung paggamit ng social media.
You're still watching Pros and Cons. Before we continue our discussion, let's check out comments of our followers on social media. First is from Israel V. Padolina. Sabi niya, no, they are free to use social media, the mga teens. However, parents should be responsible to guide their minors regarding their social media accounts. The more you prohibit the minors, the more they'll get curious and will find ways to go online, which makes it worse. Yan. And from Orlando Labayane, sabi niya, paano ipagbabawal? Ultimo paslit. Marunong nang gumamit ng gadgets. May gadgets o wala, nasa tao na yan. Kung pinili niya magpakamatay, gagawin niya yun. Kaya dapat bukas ang komunikasyon ng pamilya. Hindi yung puro hanap buhay na lang, at bigay ng pera sa anak, aray. Kala nila, basta may pera, okay na.
Yun ang tama.
So, as a psychologist, do you find it okay?
Definitely.
Does it sit well with you?
The comments are definitely correct.
Alright.
Because at the end of the day, how you behave online is a direct reflection of you pursuing your needs or how you also behave in real life or how you wish you could behave in real life. So, I think that the point to make here is that parents start too late in guiding their children how to have a healthy digital media consumption habit.
Okay.
And this means that it's not about intervention when things get critical. It's about prevention and training from the very beginning on how to responsibly use digital media.
Yung vanity ba, is it a threat to a teenager's mental state?
Yeah. Kasi nandito na tayo sa generation na kailangan may proof ka na experience mo para maniwala kami na nandun ka. Kailangan i-post mo yun.
Hindi lang po para maniwala, pero para mapahalagahan na nandito ako
Nandoon.
ngayon.
So doon nagkakaiba ngayon yung generation natin.
Iba yung capturing sa living the moment.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But you have to understand that for every generation, there is a universal truth na lahat tayo kumbaga sumasabay sa panahon. And the problem is that the culture in this generation, ang pinapahalagahan natin is that vanity, that perfect facade. Parang
Public
keeping up-
admiration.
So, facade lang
so
siya.
keeping
Yung mga
up
likes
with the Joneses, it's really now measured in likes, in loves,
Shares.
in how many followers
So,
that you have.
so, yun, Jan, do you agree? So, parang pakipusuan naman. Hindi na lang kaya.
Ganon.
Pakipusuan naman, di ba? Iba na.
To give it mention from a marketing angle,
Oo.
the problem kasi with social media is that it can be very easy for it to become an echo chamber na nag-post ako ng magandang pic, dapat maraming magla-like. At kung hindi mag-like, i-erase ko.
Tama.
Yeah, that's right.
At kapag walang nag-like, nade-depress yung bata.
Right.
Doon tumatama ngayon sa ego ng tao.
Yun.
And this is because, as we said earlier, vanity is directly tied to your pursuit of self-esteem.
Right.
Kung hindi ka nakabuo ng tamang ng sufficient na self-esteem sa kung saan ka nang gagaling araw-araw, saan ka na-expose araw-araw, your school life, your home life, hahanapin mo talaga sa
Right.
ibang paraan yung self-esteem
Okay.
na yan.
So, alam na natin yung mga trigger mechanisms ng problema. How do we avoid it?
For me po, I think the point really to make is to parents. For parents,
Tayo talaga.
oo. It is up to you as a mother and as a father, not just to intervene, as I said, when things get critical, but to make sure that you are mindful of what you are exposing your child to, what age you are exposing them to, and how much you're exposing them to, what content they're able to see, and also what values are instilled in your family. Because if in your family ang napapahalagahan is ang ganda-ganda mo, you're the best, parang even in social media, yun yung magiging pursuit niya, yun ang hahabulin niya, to feel like she's the best, to feel like she's the prettiest.
And then, pag di siya napusuan, nade-depress na siya.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Prof, from the academe, or kailangan ba ng legislation dyan?
I think it would be helpful na magkaroon ng legislation para mas
To regulate?
to
Or to
regulate
control?
or also to institutionalize
Okay.
media information literacy to train the trainers.
So in that sense, media information literacy, not necessarily control.
Yeah. Kasi pag nalaman na natin kung gaano ka-importante ito, alam naman natin lahat na yung ibang tao pagkagising, social media kagad. Pero kailangan lang
Hindi na
natin...
nga natutulog eh.
Kaya hindi natutulog, napupuyat, di ba? So kailangan lang matrain natin din yung mga teachers na maiintindihan itong phenomenon na to. Kasi mismo mga teachers, I think, nahuhuli. And our academe, especially sa mga universities and colleges, I think hindi pa ganun ka-substantial yung mga literature or researches conducted on this field. So dapat magkaroon din tayo ng solid foundation pagdating dyan at ma-confront natin ito head-on. So even in schools and mga public schools and even private schools, I think they need to sit down. We need all to sit down,
right.
come up with a policy, and then confront this. Kasi whether we like it or not, it's affecting mental health.
That's right. Is it a serious problem now concerning the youth, the teenagers specifically?
Yes.
Itong problema na to. So
And
yes.
the best way that we can help po, from a social media perspective, is to encourage companies that provide social media to standardize and always have mechanisms for them. Na,
Do we need a law to do that, to compel them to do that?
if need be, preferably no, then we would require them not to. But if we have to, then we will.
If they have initiative.
If they have to, file
Sila na
initiative.
mismo. So multi-stakeholder approach ito. This is a serious problem. We all agree.
Yes.
That needs an immediate solution. Kesa, alam mo, kesa magkaroon tayo ng isang lipunan eventually na puro depression.
Right. Mababang self-esteem.
Diba? Baba self-esteem.
Nagkikrave for public adulation.
Yes,
I think part of what is hampering our progress is that the older generation is still resistant to the idea that social media is here to stay. And if it is here to stay, then you have to keep up in how to regulate, how to monitor, and how to control the exposure that the younger generation
Do you
has.
feel that some level of rejection na matatanda?
Yes.
That
Meron.
plus, because one of the other issues is our culture is very resistant against the idea of mental health.
That's
Isa pa yun.
right. That's
Exactly.
right.
We even have a term for it, hinihinaan ng loob.
I
Kaya
see.
if we can raise it and hand in hand with regulating social media, then I believe we have a chance of turning the tide around, so to speak.
Okay. Regulating teenage use of social media. To be exact, baka may mga tumaas ang kilay sa makasama natin eh. Baka mamaya hindi na rin tayo, akala tayo yung nire-regulate. Anyway, so there you have it, folks. Straight from the shoulder and right on the money. Be aware that the mental issue isn't something you can just pray away or change your mindset over. It's an actual condition that should be recognized, treated, and coped with. Social media has its own pros and cons. But in the case of teenagers, social media is not the only way for them to live, receive validation, and find themselves. At the end of the day, it's the lessons that will challenge and shape them. And the least we can do is guide them, whether online or in real life. So with that, any final words from our guests, starting with you, Teddy?
Parents, it is the new generation already. Try to be very mindful of how you guide your children through how they are exposed to digital media content. And from a very early age, instill good values in them so that when they start their consumption of digital media, they can develop healthy habits also.
Wow. Well said. Prof. Romel.
Sa mga magulang and mga teachers, I think alam niyo yung movie na Spider-Man. Yung iconic line doon, with great power comes great responsibility. Social media gave us immense power na hindi natin na-imagine noon. Before ka makapagsalita at mapakinggan ng maraming tao, you have to be in a network or you have to be a columnist. Ngayon, you just have your cell phone and the whole universe literally can see and hear you. Mga magulang, mga teachers, sino ba mas nakakatanda sa atin, sa mga bata? The power actually lies in your hands, pero binibigay po natin kagad sa mga bata. So dapat matuto tayong turuan silang maging responsable. At the end of the day, babalik pa rin doon sa age-old saying natin na kaninong anak ba yan? Magre-reflect yan not only doon sa bata, but sa atin bilang magulang at bilang mga guro.
That's right. So, John, what can you say about it? So, final words.
Ang mga kabataan po ngayon, alam ko na mas familiar pa po sila sa social media kaysa sa mga gulang nila. Kaya kailangan din na alalahanin nila kung ano ang responsibilidad ng tamang paggamit ng social media. Hindi lang binigay ito sa akin, wawaldasin ko na lang kung saan-saan. It's a very important tool and they are the first generation of many to come that will see this technological development. Kaya dapat maintindihan nila, ma-communicate nila sa kanilang mga pamilya at sa kanilang mga eskwelahan kung anong pangangailangan nila at kung ano yung kung kailan sila in trouble. Hindi lang nila aantayin na may humugot sa kanila.
Okay. For your comments, suggestions, and questions, visit our Facebook page and the PNA website. You may be for or against. You may agree or disagree. In the end, we are all Filipinos working towards the same goals. Will you choose what's right or will you stay on your side of the truth? Once again, this is Undersecretary Joel Ciegco. Thank you and see you on the next episode of Pros and Cons.